What if I told you we could shave 5 shots off your rounds of golf without having to change anything in your ability levels? Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson. Today that's exactly what we're going to do here at Get Good at Golf. And if that's what you want to do, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and throw a like on this video if you find it helpful. So I've got 3 clubs here. I've got a 56 degree, in fact it's a 60 degree because Chris has allowed me to get it out of the bag for the first time in a long time. I have a pitching wedge and I have an 8-iron. Here I have a chip shot, which most golfers would expect to get up and down from. We're on the fringe, we've got a perfect lie, there's no qualms there, there's no problems. We have loads of green to work with and we have a back flag. So realistically here, we would anticipate we're going to put this ball fairly close to that flag and then hold the putt and move on to the next hole. But I see people who get a little bit unstuck in this situation. Some people will reach for the putter, some people will reach for the 8-iron, the pitching wedge or the 60, and we're going to talk through just potentially what is right and what is wrong here. Now this may come to a surprise to you all, but there is no wrong here. Some of the world's best golfers here would opt for an 8-iron, other of the world's best golfers would opt for a 60 degree, but it's about trial and error. It's about thinking about exactly what the right club is for you here. So this is a 60 degree. I'm probably going to have to cover 75% of the way in the air here because this should have a little bit of check on it. We've got a brand new Skyforger wedge here and we've got a brand new golf ball. So realistically, if I have that ball in the middle of the stance and I just work my shoulders nicely here, the key is that I know how high this ball is going to launch, then I know how it's going to react on the ground. There's no real wind today, so that shouldn't have an effect either. And from here, I can just play a nice shot that checks. That one's released out a little bit, so that goes to show that that was probably the wrong shot for this situation. I struck it nicely, it landed maybe 80% of the way there and it's just run off the back of the green. That would be annoying, that would be really frustrating for me. So let's have a go with the pitching wedge. Now again, just because that ball's released on a little bit too much doesn't mean to say it was the wrong shot. It means to say if that's the shot you want to be comfortable with and the shot you want in your arsenal, then you have to work on that shot and make sure you know how that ball's going to react. Now this should be a little bit simpler. This is now the pitching wedge. I'm going to land this probably 40% of the way there and let it roll the rest. So I'm going to have to read the rest of it like a putt. So if I have a look at the green here, there's quite a big undulation from right to left. My landing zone, which Chris is going to talk about in a second, is going to be around here, and there's a huge right to left slope here. I can feel that under my feet. I am an aim point instructor and an aim point ambassador, and for me that's a really nice way of finding out just where the slope is, but you can tell just visually, to be honest, that there's a big right to left slope. So here I'm going to have the ball a little bit further back in the stance, slight forward shaft lean and weight on the left. I'm not having it really press forward and trying to kind of shuttle it forward. I still want to have a nice takeaway and a nice release with this club, so we've got plenty of loft on there. This is a 47 degree pitching wedge, so if I play this shot nicely, land it 30% of the way there, you can see a little bit of check on there, releases out. Again, that one's just gone a touch long, so let's try another shot. Let's go 8-iron. This is a shot that a lot of people might laugh at. A lot of people might say, oh, that's the wrong shot. I want to get this ball up in the air. But I think this could be the shot that gets me closer to that hole than the other two. So again, I want to have that ball slightly back in the stance. I want to make sure that I'm still using the loft on this 8-iron. I'm not trying to almost play a putt with an iron. And from here, I'm going to land it just in front of me and let it release out. I have now probably learnt from the last two that this green is very fast, isn't as receptive as maybe it could be. But from there, I'm going to make sure that I know where the ball's going to move on the green and just play a nice little shot that releases out. You can see that's probably going to be the best of the bunch. And that is a shot actually which I wouldn't usually play. I would go middle of the range there, I'd go 56, I'd try and land it a little bit closer to the flag, but this is the percentage play. Taking the lower lofted golf club is the more percentage play. You're more likely to get up and down, probably more likely to hold it like I have done there. Now Chris is going to show us just exactly how this can help your game, how it can help you drop shots off your score, and ultimately how it can help you get good at golf.
So guys, it's about picking your landing zone. So one of the best coaches in the world, one of the best short game coaches, Graham Walker, always says try and find the first flat spot on the green, so the area where you can land it as quick as possible to be able to then get it rolling out. We can decide, if we know how the ball is going to roll, it's much easier for you to judge your distance and also pick your golf club. If you're relying on landing it a little bit further, we know there's more swing, there's more potential for error, we're relying on a little bit of spin, so we need a perfect contact, and it makes it very hard. Obviously, if we had ridges in the green and we had to go up and over something, or there was a big drop off, then we might have to go for a more higher tariff shot. But like James proved there, we want to get a landing zone that's nice and close, and that on this occasion was with the A-Time. But when we're picking a landing zone, a good thing for you to do when you practice is get another couple of golf balls or a couple of tees and start to give yourself a landing zone. So I want to land it anywhere just past that ball and maybe to this ball. So if I asked you, as an everyday golfer, as a handicap golfer, to land a golf ball from there in between those two balls, would you say that you could do it? I think you would have a lot of confidence in saying that, okay, yeah, I can get a ball to land there nice and easy, and then I can get it to run out. But if I just said to you now, okay, right, I want you to land that ball perfectly in line with that golf ball there, would you have as much confidence? Probably not. You'd be thinking, well, I can get it somewhere near, a yard here or a yard there, but that's going to make a massive difference to obviously how that ball is going to run out. But it's also going to give you a total difference on the confidence you have over your golf ball. And confidence in short game, we know, is one of the biggest things that you need to be positive, to be able to be aggressive with your shots and start to lower your scores. If you're very negative and you're very tentative with these shots, we see the ones that get duffed, we hit about 6 inches behind, never got going. So when you're picking your landing zone, I want you to think, okay, I want to give myself a bigger zone. So even if it was, let's say, the 60 degree here and we had a big ridge to go over, again, I want you to come down here and go, right, I know where I want it to land, but anywhere from here to here would give me a good chance of getting it close. And there, if we think we've given that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yards of landing, so it's a big area that you would want to be able to hit. We've not given you a yard, we've not given you a blade of grass, we've not given you a little bit of a pitch mark to hit.
A hula hoop would be the one, wouldn't it, that people are doing in the past?
A hula hoop, exactly, yeah, something like that. I would be then confident I could hit that zone. But once we've picked that, we just want to go through the motions there, just like you would potentially with a putt. I'm trying to think now, if I'm getting this landing nice and close, I can just do a nice small motion, be nice and positive. That would have caught the last bit of my landing zone, and that is, I mean, it's not as good as James's, unfortunately, but that's gone to around about 5 or 6 feet. So you would say, well, that's nowhere near as good as James's. But tour average from this distance, from 20 to 30 yards, the best on tour on average are hitting it to 9 feet. So don't beat yourself up there. Start to give yourself, obviously, a good chance at a putt. But your problem is, obviously, you've missed it here. So you need to figure out why back there have you missed a green, but give yourself a chance at a putt. Obviously, James is going to make a comment now about being better than tour average, because he did.
In fairness, the first two weren't, so
yeah, because
if we average it out, it's probably about 9 feet.
And it probably is, and that's where we see, even for myself and James, it's all about just giving yourself that chance. The problem is you've missed the green, but if you can go through that zone, have a little bit more confidence, we're going to hit the ball closer more repeatedly, and from there we're going to hole a few more putts, help you lower your scores and get good at golf.